all the fans of altersofmetal.com.
I'm David Vincent, and you are watching Altars of Metal. And congratulations for coming back after 20 years.
Metalheads, it's Kelly Schaefer from Athens and Till the Dirt, and you are listening to Altars of Metal. Reborn, recreated, just for you and your ears. Thank you. Turn it up, crank it. Cheers.
Hey, this is James Murphy. What's up? You're listening to Altars of Metal.
Hello there, this is Athens from Rick Rozz. You are watching Altars of Metal.
Hello Metalheads, this is Athens from Nightfall. We're watching Altars of Metal with the almighty Twisted Minds.
Altars of Metal, welcome back after 20 years. Have a good one.
Dear friends of Altars of Metal, tonight we're honored to welcome one of the true pioneers of the Florida death metal scene, a guitarist whose riffs helped shape the very foundations of extreme music. Rick Rozz is best known for his groundbreaking work with Mantas, Death, and Massacre, three bands that laid the blueprint for what death metal would become. From the early days of death metal, of Death by Metal and Leprosy to the iconic From Beyond, his guitar tones, songwriting, and raw energy defined an era of uncompromising sound and attitude. Today, Rick continues to carry the torch with his current band, Left to Die, performing classic material that connects the roots of death metal to new generations of fans worldwide. It's a true privilege to have him with us tonight. Please welcome to Altars of Metal the legendary Rick Rozz. Hello, Rick. How are you doing?
Doing good, Demetrius, and it's a privilege and an honor to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, man. Thanks for coming to my show. All right, just gotta say first, we were normally it was gonna be two of us. Vic, my friend Vic, who says his regards, and he has written most of the questions. So I'm gonna start with the first question to ask you to take us back to the very beginning of Mantas. Of course, we're gonna go a little bit back on history, down on memory lane. So before Death became Death, you were already playing under the Mantas name. Can you walk us through how the band formed, what the early local Florida scene was like back then, and what role you personally played in shaping that first wave of material?
Oh, Kam Lee and myself formed Mantas right after, I guess we were still in high school before we left high school and met Chuck. So we had Mantas going already. As far as a Florida metal scene, there was no Florida metal scene in the Orlando, Altamont Springs area whatsoever in 1983 and 1984. So, and as far as shaping anything, we were just some kids just jamming, influenced by all types of music, including, rock and metal.
Did you expect, as kids back then, how big this whole thing would become in the future?
No, that was never really a thought in any way, shape, or form. It's very flattering, though. In my older age, it's pretty cool.
Cool. And can you tell us, how did you first meet Chuck Schuldiner? I mean, you and Chuck became part of the foundation of the emerging death metal movement. So how did you first connect with him musically and personally, and what convinced you that you were aligned enough to start a band together?
Well, gotta give credit where credit is due. I gotta bring Kam Lee into that as well, because he did a lot of had a lot to do with death metal as well. But I met Chuck at a backyard party, and we hit it off. Like I said, different types of music, different types of metal, rock, this and that and the other. And there really wasn't, I'm guessing, nobody else in the area that played that type of music or was interested in the same thing. So we kind of hit it off there, and just started writing songs in the garage.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned Kam Lee, and how did your relationship begin? Kam's vocals and personality defined a big part of the early Mantas identity. How did you meet him, and what did he bring to the band that you feel has been overlooked or understated over the years?
We met in high school in art class, in Lake Brantley High School. And he was drawing, I believe, it was either the first or the second Iron Maiden album cover, and he's a really good artist. So that's what, when we hit it off, we both were growing our hair out. And once again, we hit it off with different types of music, punk rock, some metal. And yeah, I think he's been fairly credited for what he's done. I think a lot of people have acknowledged his vocals and the influence of his vocals and the bands that we played in, and also that Chuck and I played in. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything's been really overlooked, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I really don't know if he feels that way, but that's my opinion.
All right. I will be reading some of the comments as well. We've got quite a few people watching us at the moment. My friend from Greece, George Theodoris, he says, "Hello, Dimitris. My regards to Rick. I would like you to ask him how were things in the recordings of Leprosy. He also wrote the rhythmic sections with guitars. So what do you remember?"
Hello, George. It was a really good time. We were kids. We were like 20, 21, and Scott Burns was an amazing engineer, and Dan Johnson was an honor and a pleasure to work with him, and Scott as well. That was, I believe, one of Scott's first metal records before he became a producer. So, but yeah, it was a really, really good time. We had all the songs ready to go. It was fairly smooth, and yeah, it was good stuff.
You mentioned Scott Burns. Could you elaborate a little bit on your experience with Scott Burns? Because he's a very important person in the scene, and how the sound was formed of death metal. What are your recollections from working with him?
It was really laid back, chill guy, really cool, knew what he was doing. And like I said, Dan Johnson produced it, and Scott had a lot to do with that as well. We had a good team. Scott and Dan worked really, really good together. And I believe Leprosy was the first death metal record recorded in Morristown, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Those early demo years had a lot of movement and lineup changes. Can you explain the circumstances that led you to step away before Scream Bloody Gore? What was happening creatively or personally that made you decide not to continue with Chuck at that point?
Oh, I was let go from the band. So yeah, I didn't leave. I was let go, and then I got a call from Kam Lee not too long after the fact from Tampa to Bill Andrews, the Massacre drummer, who's also the name of Massacre is Bill's name. Would ask Kam to call me to see if I wanted to join the band. So that didn't happen. I don't know how soon it was, but it wasn't much longer after my being let go from Death the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So
all right,
that was Chuck. His friends called me and said, "Hey, da da da," it was his choice. It's cool.
Okay. Fear Factory is his nickname. He says, do you know where Bill Andrew, the drummer, is now? We haven't heard of him since Spiritual Healing.
Yeah, he's been in Japan for the past 2 decades. So there is some talk of, I'm sure he's eventually going to come back, but I don't think he'll be involved in any type of music. So I think it'd be just to come back and see his family. But he's been gone for 20 years. So
okay, all right. And with going back to my previous question with those early demo years, we see you then return for Leprosy, a major turning point for death and maybe death metal. Vic feels it's all right, man. Yeah, cheers. And I gotta tell you how we say this in Greek. We say yamas. So yamas, man.
Yamas.
So yeah, you return for Leprosy, a major turning point for death and maybe death metal. Vic feels it's the first proper death metal album. What motivated your return? How did Chuck approach you, and how did it feel walking back into a band that had already grown in visibility and expectation since you had left?
Well, I've told the story a few times. I'll make it quick. Massacre was opening for Overkill and Megadeth in Tampa at the Tampa Bay Armory. When we got to the show, we were told we weren't going to play by the promoter.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't get to play. And that same evening, because I wanted to hang out, I wanted to see Overkill and Megadeth. So some guy came up to me. I have no idea who he was. I couldn't pick. I don't know what he looks like anymore, and let alone his name, and said that Chuck was back in town. And this was right before Christmas of I don't know what year. I'm going to say 88, I guess, or maybe 87, one of the two. I think it's 87. But right before Christmas of 87, and he told me that Chuck was back in town. So I didn't say anything to anybody in the band or anything like that. And I pretty much left the band that night, left Massacre. Didn't say anything to anybody, but I went to Chuck's house the following day. He answered the door and was kind of like wondering what the hell I was doing there. And I said, hey, man, if you're cool with, I have some, I heard a couple of things and I have some ideas, blah, 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 blah. If you're interested in talking sometime, let me know. I just want to stop by and just, say it to your face. So he called me the next day. We got together, and long story short, I called Bill and I called Terry. I said, hey, we're in Death. So that's the long story short. So that's pretty much how Death was reformed. And yeah, I never told Cam that I was leaving the band or anything like that either. And when we got together for a moment, I did apologize to him for that several times. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much that.
Okay. And year after Leprosy, you left again. What were the internal dynamics during that period that influenced your decision to depart for a second time? Looking back, do you feel it was creative differences, personal issues, or simply timing and circumstances?
Well, for the second time, I was let go. I did not leave. And I sincerely believe Chuck wanted a shredding guitar player. He wanted a more melodic type guitar player for solos, and I'm just not that guy, you know what I mean? So obviously I didn't take the time to, be a shredder. There's already enough, you know what I mean? So I was like, I took a little bit from this guy, a little from that, learned how to do the whammy bar stuff, and it's fun, and that's my thing for death metal. So, But yeah, so I was let go a second time.
How do you feel about the way, the post-Rick Rozz era of Death, and how Chuck evolved Death, through time?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
How do you see, the evolving of Death after you left? Then we had Spiritual Healing and, the rest of the albums. And, each album was actually something very different every time in progress. From something that, let me say, started as a raw death metal band, then became quite technical. Quite a lot of musicians went through, and great musicians, all of them. And it kept evolving as something different. How do you see the evolving of the band through time after you left?
They just became more musical, you know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure Chuck would have started off that way from the beginning if he could have, because I really feel that, in all honesty, I really feel that he was influenced quite a bit by Cam and myself as far as learning the whole death metal thing, because he really wasn't a death metal guy, let alone wanting to be a singer, which has already been told in many things. So, but no disrespect to the dead, but if he could have been musical from the beginning, he would have done a Watchtower thing out of the gate. You know what I mean? There would have been no death. I really feel that. So, which it shows in his music, because that's what he really wanted to do. And he didn't want to be a singer. And the last thing he did, Control Denied, he wasn't singing. So, and if he could have done that from the beginning, that's why Cam sang 90% of the songs in the beginning, and then Chuck started bringing a song in here and there. And So yeah, like I said, no disrespect to the dead, but I really feel that that's a fact.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pardon me as I took.
Right. There's a long-standing confusion about the origins of the song Corpse Grinder. Many fans still think it's a Death song or a cover, but it was originally written by you during your time in Death and later re-recorded with Massacre. Can you
Correct.
can you clear up the history of the song and what you make of Chuck publicly claiming authorship in some interviews?
What about what Chuck said some in interviews about what Corpse Grinder?
Yeah, claiming authorship in some interviews.
Oh, I don't know. Kam Lee and I wrote that song, so and then we redid it in Massacre. So yeah,
Simple as that.
twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about
Same
how.
thing with Evil Dead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let's talk about how the Massacre album came together behind the scenes. In 1991, you mentioned that the idea for the album came from Digby Pearson at Earache, who approached Kam Lee, who then contacted you. You even pre-produced the material with Joe Cangelosi and Butch Gonzalez before Bill Andrews and Terry Butler ended up on the final recording. Can you walk us through how these events unfolded from your perspective and how it shaped the final album?
Yeah, Digby Pearson got a hold of David Vincent from Morbid Angel, and David Vincent called me and said that Digby was a fan of the band and wanted to put a record out. So Joe Cangelosi and Butch Gonzalez and Cam, we had Massacre going, but it was a totally different type of Massacre. I mean, it had funk bass in it, and it was almost Suicidal Tendencies meets, I don't even know. So, but it was really, really cool. And both those guys are monster musicians. But, and I approached them both and said, hey, there's an opportunity to put the original lineup together and do a record. And they were totally cool with it. I still talk to both of them to this day. So, yeah, so then I basically got a hold of the rest of the guys and called Bill and Ted. Well, let me back up a second. While Massacre was already going with with Joey and Butch, Terry called me from Europe because they were on tour with the Spiritual Healing Tour without Chuck. And he said, what do you think about putting Massacre back, put the original Massacre back together again? And of course, I thought it was freaking a great idea, especially when I told Earache. They were really, really stoked because they had already sent Kerrang! Magazine down and did an interview with the four of us, with Joe and Butch, and about the Second Coming thing and this and that and the other. But then when that was brought up with the original lineup, of course, it was accepted very quickly. So yeah, that's pretty the cut and dry of that. So, and then we already had most of the material written, so we just rehearsed it and yeah, went and recorded it with Scott Burns. You know what I mean? There's another guy's name mentioned on that record, but Scott Burns freaking engineered and produced that record himself, in my opinion. I believe other people feel that way as well. Cheers, Scott. Love you.
Cheers, Scott. Let me go a little bit to the present. Now you're with Left to Die. What are the news from the camp of Left to Die? Where are you guys at right now? And just talk us through a little bit.
Well, we just finished our, I don't know if it was our second European tour, or I think it was second. I don't think it was third yet, but and Left to Die's taking a little bit of a break right now because Terry has things going on and Matt has things going on and Gus has things going on. So other than that, it's been killer since we started. You know what I mean? The tours have all been very, very great, very, very cool. The fans have been very receptive. It's really mind-blowing, to be honest. As a 58-year-old man, it's pretty freaking cool. So, but yeah, it's going really, really well. Is all I could say. So
Okay. Left to Die is a band that is dedicated to the old Death era, and there is also Death to All, similarly, and also two more projects have been there with James Murphy and the other guys. How do you see the other Left to Die bands like Death to All and I forget the names now. The one with James and another one.
Living Monstrosity.
Living Monstrosity and one more. Sorry for that.
I don't know the other one.
Yeah, I had it in my notes, but last minute preparation. Anyway, how is your relationship to the other, to the rest of the guys, and what do you think of how they have evolved?
Oh, I think they're all doing a great job at the tribute to Death. I think it's killer.
Okay.
There's not much to say. They're doing a great job. You know what I mean? Some of that stuff's pretty complicated. So,
all right.
But yeah, for those that were involved in Death at that time and did recordings with them and wrote music with Chuck, it's really cool. And the others that are there are great musicians and they're doing a great job. I believe that. So I wish them the best.
All right. Is there any possibility? I know this is a question that I most likely know the answer, but is there any possibility to see Left to Die perhaps writing some of their own material, or is it gonna stay as strictly a tribute band?
I mean, I don't see why that won't happen, but only time will tell. I'm not going to say no. So yeah, it's been discussed, but there's nothing in the works at the moment.
Okay.
Other than, if Terry has plenty of riffs, because everybody, the way I'd like to do it, and I think everybody was cool with this, everybody write a song, because everybody plays guitar. You know what I mean? So Matt will write a song, Gus will write a song, Terry will write a song, I'll write a song. And then, maybe we'll do a couple of covers or something cool and put a little EP out. But that's just for instance, not saying that's going to happen. So.
All right.
But it'd be cool. Yeah.
Are you related to any other projects? I mean, you've been to a couple of other projects as well. And I know that you're dedicated to Left to Die at the moment, but are we going to see you, involved in something else as well?
Not right at the moment. I have some ideas in mind, but I'm not going to talk about it unless it was factual and I had some music ready to go and, So right now it's just Left to Die and it's been pretty damn cool, God bless those guys. It's been a blessing to even happen and an honor and pleasure to share the stage with them and all the bands that have played with us. It's been really, really cool, man. Promoters, the fans, been pretty freaking cool.
All right. Cool. And I'm gonna still stay a little bit in the past, and I'm gonna go with the next question. It says, did you reconnect with Chuck during his illness? When Chuck was diagnosed with cancer, did you ever get in touch again? How did that conversation go? And what did it mean to you after everything you had lived through together?
I coincidentally ran into him at a nightclub called Fern Park Station. One evening, and we talked for a while. No music. I just let him tell me about what was going on with him. I didn't ask him any questions. He just talked to me, and I really didn't. Yeah, we didn't talk about music at all. None. There was no reason to even go there. So he showed me that he had no scar behind his head. This is after the first surgery. This is before the relapse, of course. But yeah. We had a good conversation, man. Like I said, I let him do all the talking. He was just telling me literally the story of what happened.
Okay.
So,
George Theodoris again asks another question. He says he wants me to ask you if you're self-taught in guitar and who your favorite death metal guitarists are. And I would expand it to generally who your favorite guitarists are.
Yes, I am self-taught. I took one lesson when I got home. I couldn't remember what the guy showed me, so I was like, okay, that was a waste of time. So, I basically started learning. Somebody showed me a power chord, a friend of mine, a neighbor, that I coincidentally came across, and I was like, oh, that's how you. So I learned that, and then As far as favorite guitar players, there's not really a favorite. I have many guitar players that influence me in many genres of music. You know what I mean? From Pat Travers to Ace Frehley to KK Downing, Tony Iommi, Dave Murray. It's totally all of them. Eddie Van Halen, not as far as the shredding stuff, but some of the tapping and some of the whammy stuff. And KK Downing definitely with the whammy, and then of course getting a little more modern, Jeff Hanneman, KK, and Kerry King. And as far as rhythms, I'm more of a rhythm guitar player. I'm not really a solo guy, so I would have rather been just a rhythm guitar player in Death than have one guy be the shredder. So, but anyway, yeah, that's about it. But it's a wide variety, and then there's plenty of Southern rock influence too. You know what I mean, as far as guitar players go. So yeah,
Okay.
Ricky Medlock, the guys in Skinner. Yeah, it's all kinds of my wide variety of stuff.
Can you get us through your journey in music? I mean, when you were a kid, back in high school, I suppose, how did your journey in metal start? Did you get like a tape from somebody that blew your mind and you said, whoa, this is where we are? Or how did it all start?
Well, I heard Black Sabbath on a jukebox when I was about 9 years old, right before we moved from New York to Florida. And I remembered the name. And then a friend of my dad that my dad worked with before we moved to Florida, it was in 1977, he gave my dad Steve Miller's Fly Like an Eagle on vinyl. So that was my very first piece of vinyl. There wasn't really a huge guitar record, even though he's a guitar player. There's a lot of other stuff going on in there. It's not really rhythmic. There's not riffs or anything, but it was cool. And then there was friends of the family. I came across Alice Cooper and Elton John. And then, of course, I Kiss Alive. And then I was like, oh. So Kiss sucked me in right away. But I was listening. I had Maiden, Scorpions, Judas Priest, all of it. Pat Benatar, Ted Nugent, Heart. It was a huge variety. Aerosmith, a huge variety of rock growing up. And then metal was probably the first metal would probably be Sabbath, which I heard early on, but didn't catch the whole wave of Sabbath till probably about 14 years old, 15. So, yeah.
Okay.
And then it all started with Hellhammer and Celtic Frost and Metallica and Slayer and Raven and you name it, you know what I mean? It was freaking like a flurry. And then I was like, holy shit. So when I heard Slayer, I was ready to go. I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. I want to play fast. So the coincidental of the growling vocal with Cam, and which I believe he had a huge part in starting that. He had influences, of course, with Tom Warrior and yeah. But yeah, it's good stuff. Sorry, I'm yappity yap.
Be yappity yap as much as you like, man. That's we were taking our time, so no rush. All right, and since we're going back to the memory lane with the fun part, being a fan yourself of this music, do you remember like the first gig you went to and it blew your mind?
I'm going to say Black Sabbath, the Mob Rules tour.
When was that?
I actually had chill bumps that whole Black Sabbath, the Mob Rules tour.
Yeah, when was that?
Oh shit. 81?
81. I was born.
I could be wrong on the I could be wrong on the year. But which was the record right after Heaven and Hell. But yeah, it was pretty freaking killer. There was plenty of great shows, and the loudest show was Blackfoot in Daytona Beach. I felt nauseous. It was so loud in my but it was so fucking cool. Anyway, pardon my language. But yeah, I'm going to say Black Sabbath, Mob Rules. 80, 81, 82. And within those 3 years, I don't remember. I'm going to say 81, 82.
Okay. And some of the guys because a lot of my viewers are obviously from Greece, where I come from, and this answers the question also of somebody who asked what language everybody's speaking in the in the comment section, which is Greek. It's all Greek to you, mate. Everybody's asking here, when are you guys gonna visit Greece, Thessaloniki or Athens or both? Is there anything in your tour plans to visit our country?
I believe we've been there twice already. As far as in the future, I don't know.
It all depends, of course.
At least once,
Yeah, it always depends on the package.
Excuse me. But yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, man.
I'm sure it's not going to be till next year sometime if that happens. But
yeah, it's always dependent on the organizers and everything and the package, the tour package. If it's there, it's there. If it isn't, it isn't. So simple as that. All right. So no plans.
But yeah, what a beautiful country though, man. I'd never been there. It was very cool. And the promoter, of course, I should know his name. He's a freaking great guy. He gave us a tour around part of a lot of this stuff. It was really, really cool, man. Really, really cool.
Do you remember something specifically?
So
do you remember something specifically? Did you visit any nice places? I don't know, in Athens or Thessaloniki, or any monuments or whatever? Is it something that caught your mind?
We went to a lot of monuments. Went to quite a few monuments, and then there was one where we walked up that hill with all those stairs, and then there was like those ruins up there that they were doing some construction on. I can't remember what
it was. The
called.
Acropolis, most likely. Yeah, the Parthenon.
Yes, sir. I think you're correct. Yes.
Yeah, in Athens. Yeah.
Yeah, we were able to see that from the hotel, and then when it was lit up at night, and we were like, "Hey, man," he goes, "Yeah, we can go there tomorrow." I was like, "Oh, cool." So yeah,
cool.
There was a few things, man, and let alone he took us to his family's restaurant. His mother cooked for us, and I wish I could remember his name. He's such an asshole. Not him, me. I'm an asshole for not remembering. No, great guy, and we'll always deal with him for the shows in Greece because he's freaking killer.
I'm not sure who brought you, but could it be Harry, perhaps?
No, it's a unique name, and I should remember. Big guy, really freaking cool.
There's a few of them. Yeah.
I don't know if he's involved with Harry or not. So no disrespect to Harry if I'm wrong, but I can't think of his name. God, I'm such an idiot.
But you know
Anyway,
which Harry?
No disrespect to him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but you know which Harry I'm talking about? Harry Katinakis.
I have to see a face. I'm horrible with names,
man.
Obviously.
So many promoters, so many countries. Yeah. All right. Okay. And I want to ask you your opinion to compare. I mean, you're a part of the Florida death metal movement, and there's been at the same time death metal was evolving in a different way, in a different sound in Europe. I mean, we've got names like Entombed, like Dismember, like Ball Thrower from the UK, and all these bands. Would you like to make a comparison of the European sound versus the Florida death metal scene? What do you think of the European scene?
I think it's great. I think it has its own thing. I don't think everybody has influences from everybody, or else it wouldn't be music. So, the European death metal, speed metal, the thrash, all of it. Creator, Destruction, Bathory, Hellhammer, Celtic Frost, all of them. All the bands you mentioned, Entombed.
Venom.
Anyways, yeah. All great bands, man. Bolt Thrower. Yeah, they're all great bands, man. Good stuff.
Yeah. I've got my friend Nick Thrasher in the comments. He's got a band, Toxic Terror. He always goes he tries to promote it. Hey, man, listen to Toxic Terror. And you should. So he wants to know if you're listening to thrash metal and, if you like it.
Yeah, I haven't heard any new thrash, but I listen to old thrash metal, and most of thrash metal that I listen to there's some Bay Area thrash, and then there's a lot of European thrash. So, but I also listen to a lot of Southern rock, man. I mean, I listen to more Southern rock and like rock and roll stuff than I do metal. So, but when I listen to metal, it's usually the old school stuff. I don't really know of any really new bands. So throw some names at me. I'll check them out. It's totally cool. But yeah, I always go to the old school. It's like old movies that are really, really good. You can go and watch them again and they never get old. You're like, this movie's so good. It's just like a record. You know what I mean? To me, you got a really good record. You can go back and listen to it anytime, no matter what age you are, and go, this is really cool. So anyway, that's my opinion.
All right. And for the more technical guys like the guitarists that are following us, would you like to talk a little bit about your gear?
I don't even have any gear, man. I literally have just have a Line 6 212 solid state amp. I have a bunch of guitars, and then I have a couple of pedals, but I use a Boss chromatic tuner, the T21, whatever, and a Boss Overdrive SD1, and a Boss delay. And like I said, I have a solid state 212 amp. I don't have any like Marshall stacks or Mesa Boogie stacks anymore because I have nowhere to put it, and I really don't need it. I had all of it. I never used it for touring because it was too much.
Okay.
Excuse me.
All right.
So yeah, and I'm no shredder. Like I said, I'm a rhythm guitar player. But yeah, the amp sounds freaking great. So I have no fancy gear. I have like I said, guitars and a simple little practice amp.
They'll do the job. They'll do the job.
No, it kicks ass. 275 watt Celestians. It's good. It's a good little amp, man. It kicks ass.
Cool. All right. And influences. I mean, who are the people that influenced you as a guitar player?
Well, probably rock guitar would probably be like, Malcolm Young as far as rhythm guitar, and little Ted Nugent, some Joe Perry. I'm just talking like rhythm stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not a lead player. I never practiced solos or, anything like that, other than a couple of bluesy things. And I could play a little slide guitar and a little wah-wah pedal. But other than that, there's not really, as far as to play music, would probably be Kiss to play music. And then, like I said, to play speed metal, and that would be Slayer, Show No Mercy. So, yeah. I don't know how to answer that question. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. But there's lots of influences, man. Totally.
Okay. And I'm going to mention 3 names. James Hetfield, Dave Mustaine, and Jeff Waters. Your comments.
Okay. James Hetfield, that's a timeless riff master from the beginning to me. And Mustaine, an insane riff master, just so many notes, and they're both great guys. And then you said Jeff Waters?
Jeff Waters, Annihilator.
I don't know his work.
Okay.
I know. I'm assuming he's probably a badass guitar player. So
yeah, from Canada with Annihilator.
Yeah. I know the band. Yeah. But I don't know his work. I never listened to him. Was there an Annihilator video? I don't remember.
There's a few. Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah, I don't really know the band, man. But as far as the other 2 guys, no disrespect to Jeff Waters. So
yeah, man. Okay.
But yeah, Mustaine and Hetfield are freaking timeless classics, man. That's it. I mean, they started a lot.
Mm-hmm.
To me, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And Jeff Loomis from Nevermore. I don't know if you're familiar with his work.
I am not, but I know the name. And Nevermore's a badass band, so I'm sure he's a badass as well.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you the last one. Blake Ibanez, we usually say Ibanez, but I had him on Monday here on our show, with Power Trip and Fugitive. Have you listened to these guys?
I have not.
Okay, all right.
Power and Fugitive, that's the name of the band?
Power Trip is the one band, Fugitive is the other one. They made quite a hype. They opened up for big bands in big stadiums, like with Pantera and everything. They've done quite a hype. So really good stuff.
Power Trip.
And especially Fugitive, I would suggest, because they've got that 80s feeling, even in their video clips, their music. It's like you're listening to Beneath the Remains with John Tardy's vocals. Something like that, is my opinion.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Any possibility to see some video clip from Left to Die? Or videos in general, like something like a production, perhaps live production or something like that?
Oh, I have no idea. No idea. I know we've recorded a lot of audio, audio stuff live, but and there's plenty of videos on YouTube as far as us playing live, but are you talking about like a professional video or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. Something
no
like
idea.
a video clip.
I don't think.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I have no idea. I mean, maybe a live CD one day of, some really cool songs or something like that to sell live. But as far as a video, yeah, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only video you see left to die of the video is on YouTube of us playing live. So,
yeah, man.
My opinion, I could be wrong. You know what I mean? So I have no idea.
Okay. I've got the user Nuclear Holocaust over here. He says, hello from Munich in Germany. And he says he would like to ask about the recordings of Inhuman Condition and Promise. Say a few comments about your experience with the recordings.
Of the Massacre EP in Human Condition or the band in Human Condition? Where I guessed that on.
I would expect the EP.
So the Massacre EP?
Yeah.
No, it was a great time. It was killer.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, Cronus came down and spent the night at my house, and I cooked him breakfast and I cooked him dinner and picked him up from the airport, and that was the novelty factor because we did Warhead on that, and he played bass and did vocals on Warhead, so that was the novelty. And he brought me down some really cool Venom stuff and signed it for me, which is really cool of him. I didn't even ask him to do that. It was pretty freaking cool. But overall, yeah, Steve Swanson was in Massacre at the time, and yeah, it was a good time, man. It was cool. It was fun.
Okay. And Akis Malam, he says, does Rick like dark country music?
What kind of music?
Dark country.
Dark country. Well, there's that band Dark Country, there's a couple of cool tunes that I dig, but I didn't buy the record or anything, if that's what they're talking about. Okay. But yeah, there's a couple of cool little... It's got a couple of cool things on there, man. Yeah.
And
I didn't buy the record though, but yeah, I post it here and there, and I listen to that here and there. It's kind of cool. It's got a cool little vibe. Like I said, man, I listen to all kinds of different stuff. There's some cool Jelly Roll too.
Talking about country, have you noticed David Vincent's country project?
I've heard of it. Yeah, I'm not a big country fan. I don't listen to country music. When I'm in the car with my girlfriend, she's riding in my car, I put it on because she likes it, but it's just a low volume. And sometimes there's some cool hooky stuff that comes up, but I'm not a fan of it. But no, I knew he was doing that, and that's, he's exploring, man. Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He could do what the heck he wants. He's an individual person. It doesn't matter what somebody's opinion. In my opinion, if obviously, he wouldn't be doing it if other people liked it, and he might be doing it if they didn't. So it all depends on what you like to do and if you're enjoying it, and more power to him, man. So, but no, I knew he's doing that, but I have not heard it or listened to it, and yeah.
All right. Okay.
But Dave's a cool guy, man. I wish him the best.
Cool. Yeah. So, mentioning Dave, I'm gonna do a little spoiler here. I mean, you know who is gonna be on our panel on January 2nd. I'm not still saying everything, all the persons, but I'm gonna show the poster to our viewers. We have on January 2nd, we're gonna have a death metal special, a New Year's special, Fathers of Death Metal. So you're going to be the next person. I've already announced David Vincent. It's going to be Rick Rozz as well, guys. It's going to be another 3 guys from some really influential death metal bands. So stay tuned. June 2nd, we're going to have this special. It's going to be a great trip down memory lane. And we're going to talk about the history back then, how everything evolved. And we're going to have a nice interaction with everybody. So at this point, I think we can have a small break so that I can grab another beer. You can grab another beer as well if you want, unless you have unless you have your drinks in front of you. So guys, stay with us. 3 minutes break, and we will be 3-4 minutes. We're gonna be right back. Don't disconnect. Stay with us. We'll be right there with you. Thank you. All right, everybody, we're back with Rick Rozz. Right, this was our small break to get another beer. I said it before, Yamas in Greek, and I'm gonna say it in the Cretan way, as we say it here in Crete Island in our own local dialect, Evivadzi. So, Evivadzi, man. All right. So, the user Cowboys Mosh is asking in the comments on same gear subject, how many BC Rich do you own?
One.
All right. Okay. And it's the only guitar you have?
No. I have, I only have one BC Rich. It's a 2006 BC Rich Wave Deluxe. Mm-hmm. That's the only one I have now. All the other ones are gone. I gave many away, and anyway, I won't get into that story. But yeah, no, I have a couple of Ibanez Iceman, Paul Stanley models. I have a few Les Pauls, a couple of SGs, a couple of custom Telecasters built by Gus Rios, the drummer of Left Eye's brother, Hector Rios. Great guitars. And I just bought myself a guitar for Christmas and my birthday, one of the Ibanez Firemen. And I just traded a guitar for a all black Rickenbacker bass. I always wanted a Rickenbacker bass like Lemmy's. I think it's a 4003 or whatever the model. And that's it. So I have a handful of guitars and a little practice amp, and that's about it. Yeah.
All right. The user, The Emperor 1980, says, favorite Death album you didn't play on?
Scream Bloody Gore.
Scream Bloody Gore. Okay. And if I would expand the question to favorite death metal album you didn't play on.
That's a good one. Because there's such a fine line between death metal and speed metal and thrash due to the vocal.
Yeah.
Death metal record. Sorry, the kids are barking.
Did you say the kids are barking?
Yeah, the fur kids.
All right.
7 of them. We have 7 children and a guest, so there's 8 here today. Yeah, I don't have any humans, man. It's just they're the kids. Favorite death metal record I didn't play on. Spiritual Healing.
Spiritual Healing. Again, from all over the death metal genre, you will go again back to death. All right.
Yeah, because there's too much of a fine line. You know what I mean? Celtic Frost isn't really death metal. I would love to play on a Celtic Frost record. I don't feel like they're completely death metal. I don't know what they are. You know, Hellhammer. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I would say Spiritual Healing. Yeah, but I'm not a shredder, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to death, man. I'm gonna go back to death.
Okay.
Because there's too much of a fine line, and I'm not doing that on purpose. There literally is too much of a fine line between, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honest opinion, man. I thought about it. I went through a lot of bands. So, and I was like, yeah, it's a death metal band, but I was like, eh. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Favorite album you played on?
I'm going to say Leprosy. This is my first record I ever did. I'm going to go back to death for the 3rd time.
Okay, fantastic.
That's the truth.
Philippos.
My first record, 21 years old. You know what I mean? So,
how was that? I mean, gaining all that recognition at the time. How did it feel? You know, suddenly it's something that becomes. Huh?
Recognition at the time of the time that we put the record out.
Yeah.
That was a struggle, man. The recognition's happening now at 58. But it was fun. I'm not saying it wasn't fun. We were kids, man. We were touring in a van. Guess what? We're touring in a van again. So, you know, there's no tour bus with Left to Die. It's a van. So we have a driver that sells merchandise, and we have a sound guy, and then the four of us, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully the clubs will have people to help us bring the gear in because we're old. And I'm lazy.
All right. Just a correction, because you told me during the break, for everybody, I'm not sure if I said January or June. It's going to be on January. The Fathers of Death Metal special we're going to have is going to be on January 2nd. Just mentioning it. All right. Going back to the questions, your contributions helped define the earliest stages of Death and Mantas. Looking back at your riffs, your ideas, and overall style, what do you feel were your most important musical contributions during those formative years? Are there aspects of your role in Death or Mantas that you feel fans still don't fully recognize?
No, I pretty much made it pretty simple. We were 16-year-old kids, man, that were playing something that we wanted to play. And we were very, I mean, a lot of the early Mantas and Death stuff was very Venom influenced, you know what I mean? And Hellhammer as well. So, along with a little Metallica, because we did a Metallica cover. But then, yeah, as far as my role, I was just a kid, man. Just was there, fortunate enough to be there with, I mean, we had no disrespect to anybody. I have no reason to do that. You know, it's, you know, been there, done that. People make mistakes. People could be assholes. I could be an asshole. Shit happens. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I have respect for all of that stuff. It was cool. There's really no contribution because it's a team. It's not like the Rick show, the Chuck show, the Cam show. It's not anybody's show. You know what I mean? So some people have a choice on who they want, that they can make that choice to who they want in their band. And I think anybody could do that. Either you could do that or you can leave the band if you don't want to be there.
Mm.
But yeah, I think it's up to the individual. I don't think I played a huge role in anything. It was a coincidence. And the only coincidence, again, is I'm playing songs that are 40 years old, at 58 years old, and people dig it. And I'm doing it with cool people, and it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. Evivadzi.
Arrivederci.
Michael Bradley says, he's asking, what odd things happened on the first Left to Die US tour? If you want to talk about it, I don't know.
What all things happened?
Yeah.
What happened on the tour?
Yeah.
Oh, the tour was great, other than there was one show where the power went out. Shit. And we stayed there all day and waited and waited. It was totally cool, and hung out with the people out in the crowd. And but the tour was great, I think. You know what I mean? Unless the guy that's answering the question or the girl has an alternate, you know, thing. But as far as the first U.S. tour, I thought it was killer, other than the one show. And it sucks. I can picture the club and the street and everything, but I can't remember the city. The power went out, and everybody got excited because the power went on across the street, but not on our side of the street. So I don't know if that's answering the question or not, but the tour was freaking killer.
All right. And can you remember like a killer moment and a sad moment in your touring life as a musician?
A killer and a sad moment. All the touring is killer, man. I mean, some of it's really rough, and it takes a certain kind of person to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, even I can be a bitch. I could totally be a bitch, but I don't cry too much. But the bitch pops. You know, the Snickers bar is needed every once in a while. I'll admit that. Sometimes too. But the saddest moment was when Massacre. 2012-14 Massacre. This is with Mike Mazzanetto and Ed Webb on vocals. We did the 70,000 tons of metal the first time. I think it was the first time we did it. As soon as we left port, there was this gentleman. I have no idea who he was. He got off the phone, put his phone down, and couldn't get on the computer. And he turned to me and he goes, "My mother just died."
Oh, shit, man. Yeah.
So that's my saddest moment. And I don't know I don't know his name, but literally this stranger that was on a metal cruise. And I remember helping him try to get on the computer thing. But yeah, that's probably the saddest moment because I was like, wow, they're not going to bring the ship back. You know what I mean? Literally, we were just leaving.
Jesus, man.
So yeah. So that's probably the saddest moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to make this, emotional and everything. I mean, I talked to you before we started the interview, but I can relate because, the guys know, most of my viewers know a little bit. I'm in a similar situation, and today,
Yes, sir.
yeah, my mother, I mean, she survived. I was waiting, for her to leave any moment, and I didn't cancel this interview because I was like, shit, man, I'm gonna, she's gonna be in the hospital. I asked my cousins, be there. I want to do this interview, man. I'm not gonna cancel it unless something happens, knock wood. But, yeah, I can totally relate. It is what it is, life. We're talking about death, but we're talking about life as well. And life can be a bitch. It's all on the schedule. So, yeah. Anyways, all right.
That's a true story, Demetrius. I didn't bring that up for any reason. That's a true story because that was really, really sad to me. When that man said that to me, I was like, wow, what do you do? You know what I mean? So.
And you're in a position where you're on a ship that is just leaving, and you're gonna have to wait until the next port or something to arrange to go back or whatever. Jesus, man, Yeah.
I mean, there's really nothing he could have done. No disrespect to his mother, other than like be there for the rest of his family. But getting a call like that, when you're getting ready to leave for 5 days, and you're like, oh, I could have been there. Anyways, but yeah, yes,
the could
death happens, and so does life.
Yeah. The could factor.
And God bless your mother, man. I wish your mom the best, man.
Thank you,
I
man.
Really
I'll tell her. Thank you. It means a lot. And okay, we've got the user Nuclear Holocaust. He says, what happened between Kam Lee and Rick Rozz and left after the Massacre reunion? So
it just wasn't meant to be, man.
Yeah, the name is...
It was like a relationship that wasn't meant to be. You know what I mean? It was a moment. We gave it a shot, and it just wasn't meant to be, man. I did my best. I did. I was as cool as I could be. I'm sure he was too.
Yeah. Badooms. Yeah. Things either work or they don't. Okay. Thank you, man. Just checking the comments. I've got George Tsiotios, and he says he wants to ask you, was it perhaps Grigoris Varsamis from Eat Metal Records who took you around in Athens, I suppose, and took you to Acropolis? He used to be a co-organizer in Athens, as far as I remember. Grigoris. Does it ring a bell? Greg, perhaps, in English.
There was somebody else with us and the promoter. Ah, man. But I don't know if it was him as well. So no disrespect to Greg or Grigoris. I have no idea. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a while, and yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, going back to the general questions I have over here, reflecting on all of this today, how do you feel when you see how much early death, Mantas, and even those old demo era riffs continue to influence extreme metal? Do you think the history is accurately understood, or is there still a lot of myth to straighten out?
I don't think it's still influencing. I think it's maybe holding its own for what it was at that time. If it's still influencing, that's amazing. So, like I said, it was an honor and a pleasure to be involved in whatever I was involved with, Death and Massacre and Mantas. It was a meant to be factor, and it was pretty cool. And it's still pretty cool today for some reason. It's like I said, it's mind blowing and a blessing. Once again, it really is. There's not much to say because I don't look at it the way others look at. I don't look at that any of us were influence anybody. I was influenced. You know, if we influence people, holy shit, that's freaking amazing. You know what I mean? Because I'm just another human being and I'm lazy as fuck. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool, man. It's cool. All I can say is it's cool.
All right.
So.
Okay. Remembering the old days, you know, things were a little bit more, shall I use the word pure? You know, we used to exchange demo tapes, you know, cassettes through mail, you know, through the post. Maybe we used to write to each other with letters and stuff like that. And here we are, 2025, with all of this technology right in front of us. Both from the production point of view, the sound has changed, and also the situations have changed. Where you get all of these platforms, man. You know, you have like a million different bands to listen to, and back then, at least as far as I remember, there was something new. You would find out from a friend, and you would listen to that tape for the whole week, and you could actually focus on that piece of thing, you know. Well, today you get to listen to something new, and then you have the next button, and you can listen to the next band and the next one and the next one and the next one, and there's so much music, which is from one point of view good, but from another point you get lost. You cannot actually concentrate. So if you compare the past back then in the 80s with today, I don't know, what are your thoughts? How is it different to you as a person who listens to music, and what are the challenges? What are just compare it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't do that. I just go back to my favorites. You know what I mean? Unless somebody recommends a band, you know what I mean, and sends me a link and say, hey, check this band out. And then I'll give my honest opinion. Not my thing, but cool. You know what I mean? But as far as like searching for music, I just don't do that. So I can't answer that question because I don't do that. I go back to what I'm familiar with. And if that makes any sense. And I lost the second part of that question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like compare the feeling, because today we have all of this technology that is changing everything, you know, and you're getting lost with all of these new releases.
It was tape trading. Right. No, you're right. It was like tape trading, and Chuck was really, really, really good at that and getting stuff out there and promoting the band. And yeah, he was the guy that did all of that. So I helped him dub tapes, but he did all the mail, most of it for sure. But yeah, the recording aspect is different. You know, it's a lot easier now. Some of it sounds kind of sterile. Some people know what they're doing and can make it sound cool enough. And because it's a lot of time to, you know, record with tape. And, you know, but I'm far from any kind of producer or engineer or anything like that. I can barely play guitar. So, but yeah, it's, sorry, I'm on a tangent, but yeah, there's, I got nothing.
All right.
I'm done. Sorry.
And talking about technology, you see a lot of AI getting in the middle, you know, even in music now. We get so much AI-produced stuff. I don't know, what are your thoughts?
I have no idea what that even sounds like. I haven't heard any AI stuff. I've heard of the term AI, and some band has put a record out with an AI cover, and everybody was ragging on it. I can't remember the name of the band though. But yeah, I really don't know. You know, AI artwork instead of like having an artist do your album cover. But yeah, I have no thoughts because I know nothing about AI production or AI music. You know what I mean? AI... Unless you send me a link and say, "Hey, this is an AI band,"
you can
which
almost...
means it's probably all fake. It's all fake.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. I mean, you get a machine to actually produce music for you, vocals, this, that, maybe lyrics, you know. So it's machine generated.
People are probably going to make a lot of money with that. if you have a good freaking gimmick and might look pretty good, you might be able to make some money on YouTube with that bullshit. So hey, more power to the AI, I guess, right? Yay! Anyway, yeah, I was just a joke. So,
all right. My friend Philippos over here, he wants me to ask you about Black Oak, Arkansas, if you know them. They're a southern band.
yes, I believe Tommy Aldridge played in that band. The drummer played in Black Oak back in the day.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think?
Am I correct on that?
I'm not sure. I'm absolutely ignorant there, but
No. Maybe the guy that answered the question. Yeah, I'm not up on their music. I can't name you a Black Oak, Arkansas song, but I know Tommy. I'm pretty sure Tommy Aldridge played in that band. But they were on the radio. But yeah, I can't name any tunes, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was more like as far as like Southern rock, Molly Hatchet, some Skinner, Blackfoot, probably my favorites as far as Southern rock goes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, and
Florida Southern rock. Sorry.
Okay. Can you talk us through your work with Left to Die and what is the overall vision behind that band?
It's a tribute to Chuck Schuldiner in the first two Death records. You know, Terry Butler and I had something to do with both of those. Even though we didn't play on Scream Bloody Gore, we were his band for that tour, and we were his band for Leprosy. So it's completely a tribute band to original guys that were in that band, and two guys that kick ass at playing that music and singing that music, because I believe Matt Harvey and Gus Rios are doing a fucking unbelievable job. And Terry Butler's Terry Butler, you know, he brings the thunder. He's the, you know what I mean? He's solid rock and has an amazing brain. You need to interview that guy. He's got a memory like freaking, you have no idea. He should write a book. He really should, because he's done so much and he remembers so much. You know what I mean? So I think he would, even Gus said that. And I was like, hey, I agree with that. You should do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, you should interview Terry one day, man. You should get him on that freaking
I will
thing or something. But yeah, keep that in mind, because Butler's good, man. He's good. He's sharp as a freaking whip.
He's in my watch list.
How do you remember that stuff? It's amazing. But anyways, I got off the question thing, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any nice story from the Florida bands, like the big bands that started this whole scene, like Obituary, Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse, D-Side, you name it? How you guys met? Or I'm gonna keep most of these questions, of course, for January 2nd, but something like a behind-the-scenes story that you could remember today with the fans that would be interesting to know and go like, hey, that's interesting.
Excuse me. I guess the only collaboration in the old school days was Rocky Point Beach Resort, Obituary. That was 1980. I'm going to say 85.
Mm-hmm. I was 4.
I think it was 85. It might be 86, but like I said, Terry would know this. And he wasn't even in the band, and David Vincent wasn't in Morbid Angel either. But Massacre played, Obituary played, and Morbid Angel played. And this is at the Rocky Point Beach Resort. And yeah, it was killer, man. It was like a hotel place, nothing fancy. It wasn't a resort. It was cool though. There was like hotel rooms and then a stage But yeah, I remember there's pictures of Obituary in the front row. I was watching Obituary. I was watching Morbid Angel. There's pictures of David Vincent side stage. There's pictures of Terry Butler side stage. Yeah, so that's the only collaboration, which is funny you brought that up because both bands were there and both bands played. But that's when Mike Browning was singing in Morbid. So yeah, it was good stuff, man. It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Andrews fainted that day because the guy had a pipe bomb. And he held his hand up to shoot this pipe bomb off, and it blew up and it didn't fly off. It stayed on his hand, and his finger was hanging off, and Bill Andrews turned all white and like, sorry, Bill. But Terry Butler will tell you too, yeah. So he Villander's pretty much passed out when he saw that. But yeah, that was a cool day, man.
Cool.
Morbid Angel, Obituary, and Massacre back in the day, Rocky Point Beach.
Perfect.
All right, I'm done.
All right, Rick, I think that's most of the questions I have. I've run out of questions.
Cool.
I think we can call it a day. Thank you very much for this amazing interview, man. Good vibes and everything. I'll see you again on January 2nd with the rest of our wonderful guests. Guys, thank you for following us and for watching this interview. Let me remind everybody that the New Year's special, death metal special we have, Fathers of Death Metal, is going to be on January, not June, January 2nd. So we're going to be here with Rick. It's going to be David Vincent and other 3 guests that I will be revealing in every show slowly, just to keep the suspense going. Rick, thank you so much for this amazing interview, man. Wish you all the best. I'll see you again on January 2nd. Everybody, thank you for watching us, and see you soon.
Thank you, Demetrius, very much.
Take care, man. Stay online, and see you everybody soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you in January, Pete.
Hey everybody, this is your big buddy Gene Hoagland from the mighty Dark Angel, Death to All, Death Clock, Bear McCreary, and every other metal band on the planet. You are watching Altars of Metal. Crank it up, keep it metal.
Hi, this is Bobby Lisbon from Pentagram, and you're watching Altars of Metal on YouTube and some other places too.
Hey everybody, what's up? I'm Tony Choi, and you are listening to Altars of Metal, and you are also watching us on Altars of Metal. I hope everybody's doing an amazing life well, and you're living in the now. Tony Choi, Altars of Metal, don't miss it. Peace!